There was the Philly shell, which is the outer parameters of this style that we're going to talk about, which is basically the insight of the rolling shoulder. And I'm going to take it back to the days of old, which is where the rawest form of boxing culminated. Back when you had Jersey Joe Walcott, who would literally throw shots. Instead of moving his feet, simply rotate his body and be out of the way. And they had to figure out what exactly is this guy doing. Well, what it was he wasn't just moving his feet, turning his waist, but he was actually rolling his shoulders. And what that did was it gave the illusion as if he was still in place. So the guy he was in the ring against would think he's right there, I'm gonna knock him out. And what he do is just slightly rotate the shoulder and come back with a counter punch. The late great Ezra Charles had an opportunity to experience this in the ring against one of the greater fighters who ever laced him up, and had one of the most unique and prolific styles in the rolling shoulder, which later was developed further and further along. You had those like Archie Moore, who not only created the rolling version of the shoulder out of the shell, but also in his peekaboo turtle shell style. And before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. For those of you who've never watched this channel, shame on you. And boy, you are late to the dance. My name is Eric A.Bradley, aka we break the fight world down here, round by round. And no further ado, it's time to box. So what we're going to do is kind of give you an insight and break down the layers of the Philly shell, the rolling shoulder, starting off with how to use this in a counterpunch system, how to increase the dexterity of your body so you can roll shots without them breaking you down, like most people who do not understand how important it is to build up the dexterity of the body. Then we're going to make sure that you know exactly how you use this style without all of the attributes like quickness and speed. The rolling shoulder is about timing. You don't have to be Floyd Mayweather, just like you don't have to be Mike Tyson when you use the peekaboo. It's all about how you use it. Not everyone's born with the physical accolades as a Mike Tyson, as a Floyd Mayweather, as the Manny Pacquiao's, those people who have those unique abilities. So we're going to get right into it. With no further ado, it's time to show you how you walk into the Philly shell. Part 1, check it out. Let's see what you think. Explain to the guys, the key to the rolling shoulder is mastering the phases of the defense. The first phase is knowing how to stop the jab with mastering the rolling shoulder. So you'll see my guys, they're gonna catch the jab, catch the jab, catch the jab. And when you're catching the jab, don't reach your hand out there. Turn here, because a guy can feint the jab and throw the hook. And if your hand's out here, you get caught with that hook, that's not a good thing. So remember, mastering the science of the rolling shoulder is about staying intact, staying in position, catching. So we're going to show you a segment of how to catch the jab out of the Philly shell stance, which is the box. That takes my jab away. Good feint. Right hook. The rolling shoulder, the Philly shell. We call it down here in the sticks, we call it getting in the box. how do you get in the box? The box has 4 corners, so it's inevitable that you box yourself in, box all punches out. What I do is we create a ring, which is a ring where you have no room to leave, no room to run. Your objective from that point is to master the science of your defense. Dress yourself down in the box. Remember, we don't call it Philly shell or rolling shoulder. We call it the box. I hope you enjoyed that little clip. And those are just little insights of how you actually develop the body, because a lot of people come into the gym, they walk through those doors and they think, I'm just going to be able to do this. And it takes so much more. We've had many of you buy our downloads. The digital downloads show you what we go through, and it teaches you the insight and the inside. And we can't do that when we do these little short posts on Instagram and Facebook. You can only get just a snippet, but it's so much more. So I want to show you how we actually do some of the training techniques to get off the rope. So take a look at this one, and if you have questions, make sure you drop it down in the comment boxes. That's what we're here for. Let's see what it looks like. Whenever you're against the ropes and you have to get yourself out of that situation, run this drill with your fighters, and fighters, listen to your coaches or consistently use this drill. We're going to get the blocks, so we're going to block here, 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 and here. Left to right, left. Your elbow is going to stop that. Ain't nothing can get there, so why you throw? Ready? Bing, 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 boom. Bend your knees. Pop, pop. Still bending a little bit. Good. Pop, pop, pop. That's not a perfect example. Your objective is bing, 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 bing. And when you drop, everything comes with it. Pop, the shoulder goes up, pop, because it can faint and come right here. So remember that. Walk through the drill slow. Wherever he is, throw that right hand. Ready? Again. That's how you handle a fighter whenever he's pressing you on the ropes and you're in the shell. You use it and turn his offense against him, and then you counter him with your offense behind that box. Now, after a long duration of time, guys start to develop and they realize where they were when they get into the gym. So I hope you enjoyed that little segment. But as we have learned over the years while we were developing the athletes, they understood their growth, right? Because when you fight, you don't know how good you've gotten when you're sparring against the same guys, and some days you have a good day, some days you have a bad day. But when you start to really measure that guys that you have not been in the ring with, who are not doing the same drills as you, they cannot land. So let's see what the guys thought about their development and what they noticed. It's nothing better to do than to hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's hear it.
My experience with the Philly shell, I like it. I feel like it adds another element to my defense. I'm excited to see where it takes my game.
Philly shell, I thought it was awesome. My defense, confidence improved, and I learned different angles and how to block, and also how to counter too.
Cool. My experience with the Philly shell is comfort, as far as draw the line and stay there, and sizing up the opponent. That's my experience. That's what I like about it.
Cool.
I feel comfortable. My defense got way better, and I also can counter. That's my experience with the Philly shell, and I know how to get away from the right hand.
My name is Robert Reed, but in the boxing gym, I go by Zion.
You see, the guys understand what it's not only done for them, but the things and the weapons that it's given them. It's clear to them that they understand the difference when they're in the ring and punches are coming. So let's show you here how to actually use it. So we'll do this little quick segment. And like I said, leave your comment and let us know exactly what issues are you having in the gym. And that's what we're here to do. Fix and solve. Let's see what it looks like. That takes my jab away. Here, ricochets, knees, make sure they're out here. The left hook. Bam. Hours and hours. Let's take care of the body. Here, defense. Good. My objective is to end. 5 layers of defense. It also gives you options whenever you're in that paint. You have to become a master of that box, aka the rolling shoulder, Philly shell. Now it's obvious that it's not easy to do that, but with enough drills and enough constant muscle memory development, you'll improve. Now, as I told you at the beginning, you're going to get to see some simulation stuff. So what we do is take what we did on the floor and take it into the ring. And this process has been known to be very successful. Me coming from a lineage of boxing that has taught me firsthand how important it is to ingrain the muscle memory into your fighters. So let's see what it looks like as we simulate these drills in the ring. Now remember, this goes into tier 2 of sparring, so it's not really going hard and blowing your head. This is about muscle memory development and how you counter. Let's take a quick segment look at this and see what it looks like. Now that's what it looks like when you're going through all the cycles. Now we're going to do a simulation round where our fighters are just going to pretty much throw the same punches, but they're going to use their footwork at the same time. So they might be countering one time, they might double the counter cycle. But your objective is to get into your natural algorithm and your muscle memory. Repetition is king. Let's get this last round of simulation sparring. Good. Take the pose. It gets so sweet when you're watching this and you start to see the development of an athlete. But one thing I will say is there's nothing more effective than when you have a strategy going into your sparring or a competition, no matter whether it's your first fight or it's if your 30th fight or you're turning pro. Knowing how to do this is very advantageous to you as an athlete, trainer, or coach or enthusiast who's just working with people who are in the boxing gym. So what we're going to do is show you what it looks like to attack the body inside of the Philly shell style. This technique is uber important for you to take with you and become a master. We show you all of these different lanes, and you see why greats like James Toney and those who have not really been given the credit for being great, like the Grazianos of the world. That's Rocky Graziano and Tony Zale, who was very influential to the Mike Tysons of the world on how they work the body and head. So let's see what it looks like, the body attack drill. You want to have a pugilistic offense and a pugilistic body attack. So just say, for instance, I have to transition. He throws a shot to the body, bam, he throws another shot to the body, boom, now I got him, I can go here. All right, you seen that? Walk through that again, what you got, over and over, go. Body, here. And I can walk in, guess what? Pull the hand back, try to get in yourself on your feet. Now, what I can do is I'm in high guard now. Temples covered. I can tip right here, touch him here. Walk forward, touch him here. Roll under, touch him here. Back to this side, touch him here. Here, here. This is a science. Raking here, and we stabbing them. We're not throwing just hooks. I'm a fan of the solar plex. So whenever I throw shots, they are like, it's That's how you walk forward. And as he walks back, come here, and throw the shots again. Step in. I'm stabbing to the body. I'm taking the gas out of his tank. That's more effective, unless you catch that liver shot. But for me, hooks are good when they're to the chin. But I like those solar plex shots. I like to stab to the body. My fighters hear me say that all the time. Whenever you're at the championship level, you're gonna understand why that's so important. Take the gas out of his tank. That's how you walk the guy down. Walk me down. Block, block. Go to that guard. And go. See the steps? Once you throw here, once he's let his ammunition go, you go in the high guard, transition into there. Head off the line here. Constantly head off the line, whether you go over the top, boom, 1, 2, 1, 2, or boom, under, boom, under, boom, under, boom, under. Head is always off the straight line. Let's walk that too. Pop, pop, dip in the high guard, spin, go to shut, boom, 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 boom. And that's how you execute. Transitioning from the Philly shell and going into the high guard, pushing your fighter back with missed body shots, breaking them down. Uber important, and I'm glad you guys hung around to the very end. And now we're going to kind of show you what do we do in this program? How does it really permeate, and how can I take it and utilize it? I just want you to have clarity as to what we are doing over here and our narrative and who we're trying to make sure understands the difference between seeing boxing, going to the gym and doing boxing, and truly learning and developing the muscle memory and embracing the process, not just following a process. We have turned it into a university. It's a school, it's a system, because it's something that's very, very detailed and in-depth. So what is the Philly Shell program? Check it out. In the history of the Philly Shell, the Philly Shell was created to prevent someone from striking you whenever they wanted to. You can take a person's offense away from him utilizing the Philly Shell. Those specific mitts were used to teach the specific speed reaction drills and counterpunch skills, not just defense, boom, boom, blocking with the fours, blocking all 4 points, pick, pick. And these, the air mitts, I use these to increase the punch power, the endurance, because the Philly Shell is known for being a defensive style which ingrains counterpunching. But as you will see, the Philly Shell is much more than that. When you look at the methods of teaching, a lot of guys needed to improve their defense, needed to improve their counterpunching. But in this series, we teach you how to be an offensive juggernaut on top of being defensively responsible. That's what the Philly Shell is going to offer to you. You're going to see methods of walking around. We call it the grunt walk, where you see guys like James Toney who used the Philly Shell, the crouch, Georgie Benton, Jersey Joe Walcott, all of these fighters. And of course, one of the greatest who have ever done it, Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Bernard Hopkins, masterful in that ring. Always force guys to have the lowest connect percentage against them because of that Philly Shell. Boom, boom, learning the 4 points. You're gonna learn how to block and work from the inside, countering utilizing arms, elbows, shoulders, legs. The Philly shell is a masterful science. You will learn so many things in this teaching. It's a 90-minute education on all of the specific skills. You'll learn how to walk someone down inside of that ring, a la Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. You'll learn how to switch from shell to high guard, press a guy back. We're teaching you all facets of the shell. Most guys only learn tidbits and they can't truly execute it. I've heard a lot of guys out in social media saying, oh, I try to use the Philly shell and I can't really get it. It doesn't really work for me. Well, facets of the Philly shell is what you've learned. Understanding that now you're gonna be able to have the entire package, how to work this thing and improve your repertoire inside of that boxing ring. This is one of the most prolific teachings in the sport of boxing. My name is Coach Eric A.Bradley, and I thank you guys for taking the time out to invest and buddy up with the School of Higher Learning. I hope you're ready to take your boxing game to the next level. This is the Philly Shell, delivered to you by Master Boxing. And remember, we work for you, and this is where you'll get your master's degree in boxing.
I am Zion, aka Mr. Philly Shell. And if you use my promo code today, Zion, you get 10% off the day. And I am.
We got you covered, so make sure you link with us and subscribe on the website so you can really get, we don't just bullet you with, get this, get that. We try to make sure you understand. We want to hear you so we know what it is that you want. All right? Solving a problem is why we're here. And to make sure that we solidify those who came before us all and take the game to the next level. That's all I got for right now. Be sure to check in on the next show as we cover how do you really prep your meals when you're starting to compete in our fitness program. So it's going to be so great going into the summer of this year. So until next time, continue blessings and Godspeed to you from Team Master Boxing. And shout out to my brothers in the School of Boxing. This is where you get your master's degree in boxing. So long until next time. Peace.